All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome in today to our wonderful counselor webinar. This is actually the first one of the academic year specific for our first year applicants and those students that you are advising for UC admission as a first year student. So this session is going to be about summer coursework entries, as I know that you all receive a lot of questions about how to report summer coursework. So this presentation in itself should be about 30 minutes, and we will have some time for Q&A towards the end. So if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to use the Q&A that you see at the very bottom of your screen, as the chat has been disabled. I will also remind everyone that we do have our counselor webinar sessions recorded, and I know that you all have very busy schedules. So if you need to leave, walk away, advise a student, we understand that recording will be on our YouTube channel. So getting into today's agenda, we are going to be looking at the UC admission requirements specifically for our first year students that we're advising. Really just making sure everyone's on the same page in terms of the A through G subject requirements, and also taking a look at navigating through the UC A through G course list. So for any of my California counselors out there, you will have a better understanding, if you don't already, on how to navigate that UC A through G course list. But what you all are most likely here for is reporting coursework in the UC application. So more specifically, how to report that summer coursework potentially completed before ninth grade, summer coursework completed during high school, and then college level summer coursework. And then of course, we will provide some resources and do Q&A at the end. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. So let's go ahead and get started with an overview of the two main requirements for UC admissions for first year freshman applicants. So the very first requirement is going to be that completion of the 15-unit course pattern, which is going to be those A through G subject areas. And we'll dive into that a little bit further in depth in just a second. Now, that second criteria is going to be students earning a UC GPA 3.0 for California residents, 3.4 for my non-California residents. And these are the two baseline eligibility requirements for UC admission. Now, as you all may know, and as you're advising students, you know that the UC admission process indeed is competitive for all of the 9 undergraduate campuses. And so most applicants are indeed exceeding these two requirements. They're going above and beyond these 15-unit A through D course patterns, or above and beyond that 3.0 California GPA, 3.4 non-California GPA requirement. So taking a look at the A through G coursework requirements, and just so we all have an understanding of what they are, as I mentioned, they are that 15-unit college preparatory course pattern. So as you're looking to the right of your screen, you have history, 2 years is going to be required, English, 4 years, mathematics, 3 years, and so forth. Now, there's going to be a few additional subject areas that do recommend an additional year of that subject area. Mathematics, for example, while 3 years is required, again, traditionally it's going to look like an algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. Could also look like a math 1, 2, 3. We are going to recommend 4 years for students, again, to add value to their application because of the competitiveness of UC admission. Very similar to science, 2 years required, 3 years recommended, and language other than English, 2 years required, 3 years would be recommended. Now, for the A through G requirements and completing those coursework requirements throughout their entire high school career, we are going to be asking that they are receiving a C or better in completion and fulfilling these requirements for each of those subject areas. We're also going to be asking that students are completing at least 11 of those courses prior to the beginning of their senior year or last year in high school. Now, there's going to be multiple ways that students can fulfill the A through G requirements. The most traditional way is going to be through high school coursework. Other ways that they can fulfill those requirements would be through an examination, so advanced placement or international baccalaureate exams with a qualifying score. We also will accept college level coursework and specifically UC transferable college level coursework, but there are some subject areas where students can receive partial credit for non-transferable college level coursework as well. And then we all will look at 7th and 8th grade middle school or junior high coursework completed for the two subject areas being mathematics and language other than English. And we'll dive into 7th and 8th grade coursework in just a little bit. Now, for my California counselors out there advising students that are attending California high schools, we absolutely recommend that you are utilizing or directing your students to the UC A through G course list if they have any question about whether or not the courses that they're completing at their California high school is UC approved A through G coursework. So you are taking a look at a screenshot of specifically Pacifica High School, which is one of our local high schools in Oxnard, and you can see their A through G course list, a little bit of the courses for Area A, History and Social Sciences. So students can type in their California institution, their high school, to search their approved A through G course lists. Now they'll be able to see which course falls in line with which A through G area or that discipline. Now, on the very left of your screen, you can kind of see that highlighted a few golden stars. You'll see AP Government and Politics, you'll see AP Human Geography. Keep in mind that those stars do designate that course as a UC approved honors course. So that would be for AP courses, Advanced Placement Honors Level coursework, as well as IB coursework offered at that high school. And these are going to be the courses that are used in that weighted UC GPA. So these are going to give that students a GPA boost, that 1 point per semester. Feel free to scan that QR code that you see on the screen if you'd like to be redirected to the UC A through G course list. It was previously also known as UC Doorways. It's one and the same, or you can also go to that website link that's on the screen. Now, let's dive into reporting academic history. Now, for all of the academic history that students will be self-reporting in the UC application, we are not going to be asking for transcripts. So we really want to drive down the message that all of the information that students are inputting in the UC application is self-reported. We're holding them at an honor system. So we really want to ensure that everything that they're reporting, their courses, their grades received, is indeed accurate and correct and would reflect what's on the transcript. So let's dive into how students can report their middle school coursework that they might have completed, but more specifically in the summer. Now, as a reminder, we are going to be giving consideration to 7th and 8th grade mathematics and language other than English to count towards the fulfillment of those A through G subject areas. So if a student happened to complete a geometry or an algebra or a Spanish 1 or a French 1 in 7th or 8th grade, that will count to their total years of completion. Now, students are not required to report the middle schools that they actually attended in the UC application. We're not going to ask for that information. There's nowhere to input that information as well. So we are ultimately also not going to be asking for their middle school grades that they received. We just simply need to know, as you can see on the screenshot, did they take any high school level mathematics in 7th or 8th grade? Yes or no? And if they did, they need to select from the drop down menu for that specific subject area. So the same question will be applied for language other than English. Did that student complete a language other than English? Yes or no? And then they will input the language other than English that they completed in 7th or 8th grade. Now, as I mentioned, middle school grades received are indeed not required, so there's nowhere for students to report that. They should be only inputting, though, coursework that they received a C or better in those middle school courses. Now, if you're asking, hey, they don't have to report middle schools, we're also ultimately not going to be asking for transcripts, right? How and ultimately why do you see campuses honor course completion for those two subject areas? And here's the answer. It's through validation. So the middle school courses are going to be validated by higher level mathematics or language other than English coursework that the student completed in high school. So for an example, if the student completed Spanish 2 in high school and they are going to submit their transcript after they receive UC admission, and we'll see that Spanish 2 in ninth grade. Well, the high school has given credit to that student, saying that they're good to go. But we'll also ask students to report if they completed that Spanish 1 course in the UC application. Because again, Spanish 2, that completion of Spanish 2 with a C or higher would validate that Spanish 1 that they completed in middle school, which is why we don't need those transcripts or those grades. So as I mentioned again, students should be only reporting coursework that they completed with that C or better. As a tip in the UC application, there's nowhere for students to report pluses or minuses. And again, for middle school coursework, we're not asking for the grades, but in theory, if they completed that course, they should only be inputting that course in middle school coursework if they had received a passing grade, C or better. Now, we are not going to be asking for those middle school coursework grades. We're also not going to be asking for those middle school transcripts. And we also do not require high schools to report the middle or junior school courses completed on the high school transcript. Again, validation is the key. So we're looking for that advanced level or next level that the student completed. So now that we have 7th and 8th grade, specifically mathematics and language other than English coursework completed, let's go ahead and talk about high school summer coursework, but more specifically high school or college level coursework or earned coursework that was completed the summer before 9th grade or the summer after 8th grade. However you want to frame it, it's semantics. It means the exact same thing. So if you are advising any students that did complete specifically A through G coursework, right, the summer following 8th grade, you might get those questions on how to report it, and this is what you need to know. So after the student completes their 8th grade year, they're technically now considered a high school student. And so that would mean high school is technically starting for them before 9th grade or after 8th grade. That summertime in terms of the coursework that they're completing, that's when high school would start. So if a student took summer courses after 8th grade, and it wasn't remedial middle school coursework, right? But courses that would earn them high school credit or college level credit, they would need to report those UC approved A through G courses in their high school coursework or college coursework section appropriately of the UC application tab. So again, just to reiterate, only if high school or college credit was earned, and this or these courses, depending on how many courses the student completed, those courses must be listed on that high school or college level transcript. Now, in terms of how students should report the courses that they completed the summer before 9th, this is going to be the very first step in the UC application, specifically in the high school attended section, so that they can input their high school coursework earned. So for this portion, if the student is going to or has completed any summer coursework before 9th grade, they need to go ahead and add the dates of their high school attendance. So that is going to include the summer month that they completed the summer course after their 8th grade year. So example, if a student took a summer course in June, after their 8th grade year, they would need to mark the start date of their high school attendance as June. So you can see that example on the screen. Now, they'll also want to list from the drop-down menu the grade level that they completed the course. And ultimately, that would be 9th grade, right? Because they're in high school. So again, this is going to be specifically 9th grade, and it will default to the fall term of that 9th grade year. So I want you to think about it as a pre-fall term. Now, for the term type, right, students will have to input their courses completed, grades received, but they will also need to input the appropriate grades earned in high school. So if they're completing any summer coursework before 9th grade, and they received a full year worth of credit, they need to input the grades that they received. And that would typically be 2 grades, because that is, if a student is on a semester system, that would be 2 grades equaling a full year of credit. Now, if they only receive partial credit, right, so they only got 1 semester for this example, partial credit of that course, they would input the grade 1 that they received, and grade 2 would be listed as no, as in they didn't complete it for that term in theory. So, example that's listed on the screen, as you can see, the student start date for their high school attendance summer before 9th grade starts is June of 2021. So this student is attending a non-California high school, so a high school outside of California. So they have to select the subject area of the course category manually. They'll also have to input the course name manually and select the honors type. If we're working with any California students as they selected their California high school, they're simply selecting the course that's available at their high school within that A through G subject area, and it already knows whether or not that course is an honors course. Now, the student will input the grade that they received, which was an A, and a grade of no for grade 2 because they only received partial credit. All right, moving right along. So if you have any students that happen to complete college level courses before the summer before 9th grade, and keyword and, if they received a college transcript or can produce a college transcript, because they've completed UC transferable college level coursework, then they should be reporting the college courses earned or completed in the college coursework section only. So again, college transcript can be produced and it's a UC transferable course. So in this section, very similar to the high school coursework section, the student will need to input the start date and month and year of that start date, right? They're also going to need to select the grade level, and that grade level should be 9th grade, and the year that they completed the course should be added from that drop-down menu. Now, in terms of term type, if you happen to be working with a student that completed UC transferable college level coursework the summer before 9th grade and after 9th grade, so both summer before and after 9th grade, they will need to list or input multiple terms that they completed that college level coursework. So that's going to require a little bit of manipulation in the application. So they will need to default their summer before 9th grade college level coursework in the fall term. And you can see that on the screen highlighted in green. So this student completed 9th grade coursework the summer before 9th grade, and they're inputting that in the fall term. You can also see that highlighted in green for the start date being 2021. But they also completed summer coursework after 9th grade. And so that's going to be that summer 2022. Now, it is going to be really crucial for students to also provide us, the application reader, with additional context, and they should input what happened exactly for that fall term 2021, where in which they took summer coursework before 9th grade. And they'll be able to add that context in the additional information section of the academic history section of the UC application. All right, so moving right along, let's talk about high school summer coursework. So very similar to what we mentioned previously, students do need to input all of the high schools that they've attended. They also need to list the dates of attendance, so start date and also end date, and if they're going to be graduating from that high school. They should also be inputting the grading system, and they'll be able to list multiple different grading systems. So if for whatever reason during their freshman and sophomore year, the school had a grading system of A, B, C, D, F, and then their junior and senior year, it switched over to 0 to 100, they can list out both of them, and they'll be selecting the appropriate grading system for those courses completed during those years. We're also going to ask them to input the term system. So was it a full year term where they're receiving just one grade? Is it a semester term where they're receiving 2 final grades, very similar to the examples and screenshots that I previously shared? Trimester being 3 final grades, quarter being 4 final grades. Now, we also are going to requires students to input all of their UC approved A through G coursework and the grades that they received. So all UC approved A through G coursework needs to be added into the academic history section. That's going to include, of course, summer coursework, right, which is our topic for today, in addition to their regular term coursework. And that also will include any repeated coursework that they completed. So if they did repeat a course, they still need to input that course in the UC application. So their original course and grade, as well as the repeated course and grade. And then, of course, we just talked about this, but if they had any summer courses after 8th grade or the summer before 9th grade where high school credit was received, yep, they're inputting it in this section as well. Now, in terms of reporting high school summer coursework, students will need to input the grades and the appropriate academic years in which they completed that grade. So examples on the screen, grade 10, the student completed grade 10 during the 2022 to 2023 academic year. They're also selecting that they took summer courses after this grade, so the summer after 10th grade. So students need to be sure to select that checkbox so that they can input their summer coursework completed after that grade level. Now, you'll note that you cannot, or your students cannot, input summer coursework planned after 12th grade. That will not be considered in the UC application review. That includes high school coursework and summer coursework. So again, they will not be able to input that summer coursework planned in 12th grade. It'll automatically be grayed out, so they won't have an option. All right. And then last piece, when students are entering their courses, they will be able to input their coursework completed for the summer sessions. And the key thing here, just to not have any confusion, is that in the green box that you see listed on the screen is specifically states summer session, and they'll want to add or enter their courses and grades received during that summer session. So as students are inputting their academic years and their grade levels, they'll be able to input or select their regular term or the academic year, entering their courses and grades. And then for the summer session, they'll also be able to select that enter courses and grades for that academic year, specifically for that summer session. As a note, pass and credit grades are not acceptable to meet A through G subject area requirements for high school and college level credit. And there also will not be an area or even a selection for the student to input pass, credit, fail, no credit. So as students are entering their summer coursework, they, of course, again, need to remember to note that they're looking at the summer session, specifically of the coursework they completed in summer session. My California high school students, so any counselors out there working with California high school students, these students will simply just select the courses that they completed. And again, these courses are being pulled from the UC Doorways or A through G course list. So all they have to do is check which courses they completed under which subject area, A through G subject area, as you see on that screenshot. Another key indicator that they're inputting summer coursework is it will state summer after 10th mathematics or summer after 10th English. Now, for my counselors out there that are supporting non-California high school students, it's going to be a little bit different in the UC application in that students need to select the appropriate A through G course category, and that'll be categorized in order, area A being history, social science, B being English, and so forth, and then the specific discipline or course category. Students will also need to manually input the course name that they completed, as well as that honors type. So honors type being honors level, HL, no honors, so a regular course, advanced placement, AP, or international baccalaureate, IB. Now, in terms of inputting the grades, it's going to be very similar to the guidance provided a little bit earlier in the presentation regarding summer coursework before 9th grade starts. So as students are inputting their summer grades, they're going to be adding their grades based on the term type that they selected for that high school. So remember, students can input multiple term types, so they want to be sure that they are selecting the appropriate term type. So if they are on a semester term, that's going to be 2 full grades. If they took a summer course, they need to input the grades received based on that term type or credit received. So if they got 1 final grade and that counts for a full year, then they need to input all of the grades earned. In this case, again, it's a semester term type. If it was a partial year, again, semester term type, they should be marking no for grade 2 and inputting the grade that they received to cover, for this example, anatomy and physiology honors. They received a half a semester or partial credit for that grade of that course. All right, moving right along to college coursework completed in high school. So for students that happen to complete college level coursework during the summer sessions in between high school, they will need to input all of the colleges that they attended during their high school years, or potentially the summer before ninth grade as well. So they will input their colleges attended as well as the dates attended, which we'll go over in just a little bit. And they should only be reporting in this section the UC transferable college level coursework, and it must fall into those A through G subject areas. So again, UC transferable college level coursework. If the student can produce a college level transcript, it's transferable. If they're in dual enrollment, if they're in running start, that's all college level coursework. In order to determine what's a UC transferable college level course, some guidance here. Typically, that means it's a 3-semester or 4-quarter unit course, and that is typically going to be deemed as a UC transferable course. Now, for students that happen to be attending a California community college, they can use assist.org to determine the transferability of that course. So i.e. if they need to report it in this section, and 2, if that course happens to articulate to a UC campus, they will know what the course equivalency is offered at that campus, and potentially that can go towards their general education or even major preparation coursework. So on the screen, you're taking a look at assist.org. For this example, we've inputted a community college here in the local area, and you'll want to note the academic year. So for this year, we've selected 2024, 2025, and we've selected the button that says UC transferable courses. Now, right now they are updating assist.org with the coursework availability. So for articulation and transferability for the 2024-2025 academic year, but the 2023-2024 list will be shown. So just a note there. So as you navigate through assist.org, you are going to select that transferable courses. You're going to search for the course. This example, we're searching for Spanish, and then you can see the different course offerings that are transferable. You can also see the semester units or quarter units if that community college is on a quarter system. This example is a great example as well to determine whether or not a language other than English coursework will fulfill the A through G requirements for LOTE, language other than English. So this example, Elementary Spanish 1, does fulfill 2 years of high school coursework study, and you can note that by the asterisk that's on the screenshot on assist.org. So for students that are completing college level coursework, but it's not transferable college level coursework, that will need to be inputted in the activities and awards section as quote unquote other coursework. And that is a specific category in the activities and awards section. So for other coursework, ultimately, that is going to be courses that do not fall into an A through G subject area, and that is going to exclude physical education, teacher assistant courses. Those should not be reported in the high school coursework section. It should not also be reported in the other coursework section of activities and awards. Those need to be excluded as a whole. But some other courses or other coursework that students might have completed might include leadership coursework, might include religious studies coursework, some career and vocational courses, and also any other coursework that they did not get academic credit, right? Maybe they received a certificate from this course. So again, that's where the activities and awards section will come into play, and students can report that as other coursework in addition to their non-transferable college level coursework. So in terms of inputting specifically summer other coursework that they've completed, students should go ahead and select the grade they were in before the summer coursework was completed. When the question is asking, when did they take this course, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, they're reporting it before the summer coursework was actually completed, that grade. All right, to wrap up with a few reminders and timeline. So the UC application is, of course, open, as you all know. So it will remain open August to September. October 1st will mark the first day where students can submit their application. I want you to keep in mind that we do not have early action or early decision as a reminder. So it's not going to be a benefit for the student to submit that application on October 1st. It's also not going to be a detriment to submit it on December 2nd, which is the extended deadline this year because November 30th lands on a weekend after the holiday break. So we are generous here at the UC system and have extended that deadline to December 2nd. We want you, of course, to remind your students to take their time with the UC application completion. And of course, if they have any questions working with you or either UC campuses in which they're applying to. Now, December through March 2nd, keep in mind that is the updated estimated start date for the submission period for the FOSFA and California Dream Act applications. And then in March, all UC campuses will provide decisions to all of our first year freshman applicants. UCSB will typically be around that mid-March timeframe, with May 1st being the SIR or Statement of Intent to Register deadline for all students that have been admitted to that UC campus. As a final reminder, we do not request official transcripts and or test scores unless explicitly requested by that UC campus, or unless you're working with students potentially that need to demonstrate English language proficiency. So keep in mind, we will ask for these items if they are needed. Other than that, if the student has been admitted after that May 1st deadline, they decide to enroll to that campus, they will need to submit their transcripts and test scores by June and July. Now, a few student resources that we have available for you all to share with the students you're working with. We do have a lot of resources specifically that are on demand and available to both you and your students. And those on demand videos are going to be through our YouTube channel at UCSB for me. We just posted and really posted and proud to have shared this information with the entire fall 2025 applicants and counselors that are working with those applicants, the fall 2025 application tutorial that is available both in English and Spanish. We do have major spotlight. So if your students are curious about what it's like to be in any given major at UCSB, you can check out those very quick videos of current students. And then we also have a wide variety of virtual admissions events that are available to your students, whether they're interested in learning more about UCSB, whether they're interested in having a better understanding of the UC application, getting more of a step-by-step tutorial. We have an activities and awards virtual presentation, as well as PIQs, and a semi-new presentation that is the Tell Your Story cultural context in the UC application. So students can register using our virtual admissions events webpage, and I'll be happy to share that link in just a little bit. Last but not least, of course, we have a lot of resources for you. I hope to see you all at the high school counselor conference, the UC counselor conference, coming around the corner next week for our Riverside group. And then we also have UC counselor webinar series that are available, as well as I hope you have subscribed to the UC counselors and advisors monthly bulletin so that it will share some fun facts and information to keep you up to date with what's going on with UC. And then lastly, we do have some counselor specific resources for you all that we have put together. That includes, of course, the webinar that you're in today. We have a few other webinars coming up, so I hope that you register for those upcoming sessions. We're providing a campus update, sharing how you can support undocumented students and as they apply through the UC application, as well as advising homeschooled applicants. Last but not least, again, this presentation is being recorded and will be shared out on our counselor resource playlist on our YouTube channel. So at this point, I wanted to check in with the Q&A to see if we had any questions, and we will go ahead and stop the recording as well. All right. All right, so it looks like my lovely colleague Kuka Acosta has inputted a lot of information regarding some of the questions that you all have asked. So fantastic, thank you so much. Big shout out to Kuka. And it doesn't look like we have any additional open questions, which means That's it for today. That means I get to see you again next time. Again, I hope I am able to see or meet some of you guys at the UC Counselor Conference, as well as any folks that are going to be at the NACAT conference later in the month of September. I hope you have a good rest of your day and take care. Please reach out if you have any questions. Bye-bye.